everyone, I'm Michelle Warner and I'm the social media director for the Stamp Simply Ribbon Store, and I want to welcome you to our Facebook Live. Sharon is with me. She is in the chat, so pop over and say hello, and she'll be there to answer any questions you may have throughout the video. So today I'm going to run through the ribbons in our brand new sampler, and we put this together after Pantone announced their 2019 color of the year as Living Coral, which, let me tell you, I love this color. I don't know if you can see, but in the background my accent wall is actually painted sort of a peachy coral color. So I've loved this color for years, and I was super excited when Sharon told me that she had 11 ribbons that were coral colored and we could put together a sampler. So let me flip this phone around and let's get started. All right. Give me a second while I get this in and get it all straightened out for you. I'm also going to refresh my iPad just to make sure I am live, and it looks like I am. Okay, so this beautiful pile of ribbon is our sampler. It contains 11 ribbons, like I mentioned, and you can purchase them in 1 yard increments, and it's $9.95 per yard. And I'm just going to start pulling some ribbons out, and these are the 3 that are the widest in the sampler. It is they're 1.5 inches wide. We have the Silky Crushed, the Sheer Wrinkled Edge, and a crocheted lace. All very pretty. Set those aside. All right. Let's see here. For some reason, my computer screen has frozen. Oh, nope, looks like I'm live. All right, I'll stop checking it. Okay, we have another option of the crocheted lace. This is a little thinner. This is 5/8 of an inch. This one here is a 1 inch, very sheer. It's just called sheer, and it is really a whisper of a sheer ribbon. It is so light and delicate. I think that this kind of ribbon is perfect for elegant cards, like maybe Mother's Day or wedding or even a new baby, something like that. We have the thinnest ribbon in the sampler. This one is our ringlet trim, and it also is the lightest color in the shade, in the range of the corals that we have. And this one is a 1/4 inch wide. We have 2 of the wired ribbon, and I love wired ribbon for a variety of reasons. And I'm going to demonstrate something with one of these wired ribbons here in a minute. This one is a sort of a light pale peachy coral, and it has a champagne gold edging around the wire. And this one is two-toned. So you've got a light color on one side and then a darker, richer coral on the other side, and the edging around the wire is a really rich, dark coral color. I'm just going to set this over here. We have a satin ribbon in the sampler. This one has a nice knotted edge detail, so that's lots of fun. This also happens to be the most saturated, deepest color of coral in the group. So this one looks really nice with really bright, vibrant patterned papers, and it can even go with some neons. And we're down to the final 2 ribbons. These are my favorites in the bunch. I tend to be more of a clean designer, so I'm naturally drawn to ribbons that are just sort of, they don't have a lot of extra frills about them. This one is the faux canvas, and I love the thickness of this ribbon. It has just the right amount of softness and stiffness, if that makes sense. It holds a bow really nicely. And here is our seam binding. Now, seam binding is really, really thin, and it's very flexible and malleable. And I wanted to mention that online, we actually have several dozens. I mean, I think there's over 4 dozen colors of seam binding in the store. And basically, there's a color for every occasion. So I'm just going to show you, I'm going to wrap this seam binding around a card panel and make a bow. And what I love about using this ribbon is it is flexible enough that you can sort of direct the bow how you want it. So there's lots of different ways to make bows. When I make my bows, I like to pay special attention to keep the center knot nice and tight. So I keep a lot of tension on it. So when I want to make my loops smaller, if you just pull like this, you notice how it loosens up that center knot. Then you got to tighten it, which basically pulls your loop out to the size that you started with. So what I like to do is put my fingers in and apply tension and then just pull it. And then another way is to just hold it down with your finger and then pull the tail. So there's a couple of ways that you can kind of force your bow here, and you can get it to do anything you want. Now, if you want this snuggled up underneath like an image panel, you can actually have a little bit of freedom to sort of tip it to the side, and then you just use a glue dot in the center and it stays put. So I really love the flexibility of the seam binding. But that is not the only way to make bows. We have an awesome little tool called the Bow Easy. This is a hard acrylic plastic template. Mine, you can tell by the yellowing, I have had this Bow Easy for well over 10 years. And, you know, it works perfectly fine. This is a great little template to make perfect looking bows. So everywhere you see 2 edges is the size of the loops and the bow you can make. So you can make a bow this size, and so on as we work our way around the template. So I'm going to go ahead and make a bow now. And I'm not going to go into great detail of a tutorial about the Bow Easy because there are a lot of really good tutorials online on YouTube. With just a quick search, you'll be able to find quite a few. And I like to use the Bow Easy for making single bows, but you can also double up and you can make double and triple bows. And this really is the easiest way to make double bows. I think our team member Holly actually has a double bow using wired ribbon up on the blog. And I think that, and I know she used the Bow Easy for that. Okay, so now we have our perfect little bow. With the wire, of course, we can manipulate the loops to make a perfectly round, poofy, gorgeous loop. And I mean, look how perfect that is, right? And then of course you can manipulate the tails to be as flowy as you want, and they will stay exactly where you want them because they are wired. So let me show you a couple card samples I have. Making sure that I'm nice and straight here. Okay. So these were up on my blog about a week or so ago, and essentially I just took some small pieces of patterned paper. They could be scraps that you have, maybe leftovers from another project, and I just wrapped the ribbon around a sentiment panel. And really this, if you're going to get this sampler in a 1 yard increment, by using this technique, instead of wrapping the ribbon all the way around, and you can actually make your ribbon stretch a lot longer. Just cut your ribbon down, tape it down, and then adhere it in the back with a piece of tape. Whew, easy for you to say. So let me just show you the best way that I have found to do that. I, in the past, have used wet glue to glue my ribbons down, and that can pucker the ribbon, and it can also bleed through and stain your ribbon. So you definitely want to avoid using your wet glue. And the best way I have found is by using score tape. So many of you are familiar with score tape. It is a double-sided, super flexible tape. And it comes in a variety of widths. This one is the 1/4 inch, and it's my favorite. I believe it comes from 1/8 all the way to, I don't know, Sharon can type in the chat, but I think it's like a full inch. And then you just put your ribbon down straight across, and boom. All you have to do is then trim your ends and tape it in the back, and now your ribbon is perfectly secure on your project. All right, here's another one. This one uses the faux canvas, and I tied a little knot off to one end just for a little bit of interest. Quick and easy and doesn't use a lot of ribbon. This one uses the ringlet trim, and there are 2 pieces to it. I wanted to bulk it up a little bit because I wanted to add a couple flowers for some detailing. And this is the stamp set that I used for the sentiments for these the birthday trio. This is from our farmhouse collection of stamps, and this is the all occasion greetings. So as you can see, happy birthday, best wishes, keep the faith. There are a lot of universal sentiments that can pretty much take you throughout the year. So I wanted to give a shout out to this stamp set. And now we can move on to this card, and this one is actually up on my blog right now. And I've used the wired ribbon, and I used the Bow Easy to make a little bow, and then of course I just put a little wave, and they will stay that way forever because it is wired. So absolutely love it. I also used a little piece across diagonally to just give a little bit of texture to the background. And I wanted to point out the stamp set that I used. This stamp set is called Thinking of You Rose. And it does come, there is a coordinating die set that is available with it. You'll notice that the rose arcs to the right, and I have done that with this piece right here. But you'll also notice on my card that I have some pieces curving to the left and one pretty much going straight up and down. And I wanted to show you how I did that really fast. So you take your stamp, and essentially what I did was, originally there was a piece of polymer that connected these leaves, and I just cut in with my scissors and just trimmed it away, giving some flexibility, as well as I cut open where the bud connects to the leaves, giving it some flexibility. And then all you do is, when you're pushing it down onto your stamp, your stamping block, you can just form it. Because it's acrylic, because it's polymer, you know, you can sort of have some flexibility with it. There you go. And then when you stamp it out, you can get your roses to face the other direction, which I really love to do when you're making a cluster, you know, sort of a bouquet. You kind of want them all sort of sporadic and facing different directions. So that's just one way to get a little more mileage out of your stamp sets. So as crafters, we absolutely love to have our coordinating things. We love matchy-matchy, so I wanted just to pull out a couple of items that coordinate really well with our coral. And the first one is this Kaisercraft paper pad called Fleur. I've actually used this on several cards that are up on my blog right now. I love this paper pad, and I love paper pads from Kaisercraft for a couple of reasons. One, see this gold foiling? I mean, come on, this is really gorgeous. I actually used this particular piece in a Valentine's card where I did some fun die cutting techniques with banners, and I used that sheet with it. They also have, oh wait, back it up. Look at this. Look how pretty this is. Look how pretty that would be with like some sheer or something. Love it. Okay, but I wanted to show you that they also have pages that are, where is that page I'm looking for? Well, here's one that shows it. There's embossing. So they actually have a lot of embossing on their papers, which I also love. And at the end of every pack, they have a variety of pop-outs. So you've got like sentiments, border strips, tags, coordinating elements. So this really is a one-stop shop for scrapbookers and card makers. This next paper pad is Spring Bloom. It's also by Kaisercraft. And right now we are having a sale in the store. Every single thing from Kaisercraft is on sale, ranging from 25% all the way to 50% off. So this is a good time to stock up on your Kaisercraft. This pad has a lot of coral in it. These are actually the pieces that I used for my birthday cards. And I mean, oh, look at these colors. I love it. And this one right here, here's another one. Look at the embossing in that. I just love it. And a quick peek at the other elements in the ends that you can pop out. Lots of fun. Okay, one last thing I wanted to bring out is flowers. I love flowers. I love to embellish with flowers. Petaloo has a mini Botanica collection, and these minis are perfectly scaled for cards. And this pack is in coral, and I mean, hello, this is a must-have. I love it. This actually is where I got this rose, this little bloom, was from this pack. And let me just reach over here. This one is from the white pack. So this comes in a lot of different colors. But I wanted to give a shout out to the coral. All right, so that is what I have for you today about this ribbon sampler. And I wanted to mention that if you are watching this on a replay and you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat, because Sharon and I do get notifications when a comment is posted, and we can kind of run over and answer any questions you may have. So I wanted to end things by reading the motto of the Stamp Simply company, which is keep it simple and make it pretty. Thank you.